So right now I'm stabilizing the head and I'm about to apply the cervical collar. I'm just going to make sure that the head is in neutral position, as in it's not side flexed, it's not rotated, and the chin is tucked a little bit. So the chin is aligned with the sternum, and I'm going to get an assistant to come over here and take over stabilizing the head. So put your hands on top of my hands and just make sure her head doesn't move at all. I'm going to remove my left hand in 3, 2, 1. And then moving my right hand in 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Now, first step is to measure the cervical collar. So I'm gonna go from the top of her traps to the angle of the mandible. So right there. So she's about 3 finger widths apart. So I go from the bottom of the cervical collar right here, and then I go 3 fingers up, and whatever measurement I'm covering, that's where I need to be. So she measures short, so we just need to move this down to the short. So you just unclick it, move it down so that the red is covering short. Here we go. Okay, so now on the Velcro part, we're just gonna fold it in and then slide it underneath her neck here slowly. And just up until you see the Velcro pop out a little bit. Then you fold the top part over her neck. Okay, slowly. And you just make sure the bottom of the cervical collar is resting on her sternum, and then the top part is fit snugly underneath her chin. And then you just try to make sure it's comfortably like not pinching her ear there. There you go. Just get her ear out of the side here. Okay, so the next part is to pull out the bottom part that's underneath her neck. Pull it tight, and then secure the Velcro on. And again, just make sure the person's comfortable. Take the ears out so it's not being pinched. And then can you take a deep breath for me? And swallow. Can you do those comfortably? Okay, she got a thumbs up, and then I'm just gonna check her carotid pulse over here, and it hasn't weakened at all, so cervical collar. Okay, so now we're gonna be placing the person on the spine board. Ideally, I would have 3 other helpers with me, but for the purpose of this assignment, I only have Kaylin with me here. So I as a head therapist will be at the head. Kaylin will be sliding the spine board over after we do the log roll. If I had 2 other people with me, one person would be helping me roll with one arm at the shoulder and one arm at the hip, and then the second person will be, yeah, like so, and then the other person will be at the hip and at the leg. And then on my count, we're all gonna log roll Alex towards her left. So 1, 2, 3, log roll. And then Kaylin holds the spine board at a 45-degree angle of her body, and she's checking the spine, down the spine for any cracks or deformations or anything. And then we're gonna go ahead and roll her back in 3, 2, 1, roll. Okay, and then we're just gonna check the position, her body positioning, and we're gonna adjust her in a V motion. So we're gonna go, let's say 2 inches down and just 2 inches straight down because she's pretty centered. So ready, 3, 2, 1, on my count. And then we just went down too far because we want the shoulder to be in line with the straps here. So just 1 inch up, and 3, 2, 1, go ahead. And that's perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna put the straps on. I'll get Kaylin to take over at the head. So your hands on top of my hands. And I'm gonna let go my left in 3, 2, 1. And then my right hand in 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just gonna put a towel over her hips for comfort because the straps could pinch into her hips. And then when applying straps, ideally I would have a helper with me so I could reach over and get them to strap it on. But then in this case, there's no one else to help me. So I'm just gonna strap it in up here and then walk around. So the first strap goes above her shoulder and then one strap beneath her hip. Right here. And then I'm just gonna lightly tighten it, and then we're gonna tighten it better at the very end. So. And then same thing on the other side, right beneath the hip and above the shoulder here. Then the next two straps are just gonna go just above the hip and just across of the knee here. And again, just above the hip. And by the knees here. Okay, last step is tightening the straps. And then lastly, making sure all the straps are tucked in so that they're not dangling everywhere. So we're just going to tuck them in. Okay. Good. Just double checking the security of them. Good. Step that we're going to do is, again, for the person's comfort. We're going to put towels in between the legs and secure her feet onto the board with triangular bandages. So when over here, and then just tightening them down. Okay. And then I'm just going to ask you to cross your arms here. Perfect. And then we're just going to put triangular bandages around her arms just so that she doesn't feel like she has to hold her arms up. Okay, and we're just going to spread this out just so that it's not pinching into her skin there. Okay. The last step now is putting on the head pieces for the spine board. So, to check the orientation of which way is facing which, there's an angled portion and a flat portion. You just want to make sure that the flat portion is facing the head, so facing inward. And then we're gonna place one in, and when I say go, Kaylin here is gonna let go of her left hand in 3, 2, 1, go ahead. And then she's gonna replace her hand on top of the piece here. Okay, and then same thing on the other side, so flat part towards the ear. And 3, 2, 1, go. Perfect. So you just want to make sure that the hole in the piece is also aligned with her ear. Okay. And then the last part is the straps. So the first strap is just going to go above the forehead right here. And then put it in. And again, you're just going to lightly tighten it, and then you're going to tighten it all together at the very end. Okay. And then this part goes at her chin.
Beneath the chin?
Okay, and again, lightly tighten it. And then at this part is where you tighten it all together simultaneously. Okay, and then Kaylin can let go of her hands here. And that's it.
Wanna go grab lunch?
Just to add at the end of the video, other injuries that could occur where we need to put the athlete onto the spine board is could be a femoral fracture, where we don't have a big enough splint to really like splint the leg straight. And like any lower body injury, really, like a tibial fracture is another big one. To get, like, if I'm not sure if our cardboard splint is well enough to really have a true stable splint, as well as a really deformed lower body fracture, just so that the whole body is splinted. And we don't have to worry about, like, if they move this way, would it affect the injury down there? So yeah, any other greatly deformed injury